Hi, Evanston Dems. My name is Bushra Amiwala, and I'm running to represent all of you right here in Illinois' 9th Congressional District. I'm your neighbor, and I currently serve as an elected official on Skokie School District's 73 and a half Board of Education, where I've been proud to serve our students for the past 7 years. I used to be a consultant at Google and just left my job of 5 years about a couple months ago to run for this seat full time. And I'm a graduate of Northwestern University with my MBA from Kellogg. And I decided to jump in this race because I went on a market research tour. I had about 200 conversations with people that live in this community, posing the question, who can we be excited about? And as someone who graduated from the top ranked and bottom ranked public schools in this congressional district, we realized we needed a homegrown leader who has actually faced the problems they are running to solve and have actually learned to solve them with teams. Thus, I'm really excited to meet you all and answer your questions. I have the written questions, which I'll read before I answer to make it easy to follow this video format. So first, what single issue or legislation would be your primary focus as a new member of Congress? So first, the United States is in a mental health crisis and Congress is doing nothing to address it, but I will. This is what I bring to the table. My signature policy issue is mental health care for all, because at the minimum, as we're seeing universal health care have a ton of roadblocks behind it, most of it is propaganda because from all of the modern countries in the world, 32 out of 33 of them have a universal healthcare model, except for us. Mental health care is not a luxury. That is my guiding principle. It is essential and it's needed for every American family. 1 in every 4 Americans has a diagnosable mental health condition. Almost half of my generation, by the way, has one too. I know how hard it is to cut through the red tape just to access the treatment you need, and no one deserves to go through that. And of course, the care shortage is entirely artificial. It's the result of price gouging and copious lobbying efforts by big pharma. Here's what I'll do to turn the ship around: ban AI therapy. Second, require that health insurance plans cover mental health and physical health equally. Third, fund school-based mental health programs. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done in our school district to start and lead the charge on this. And then finally, restore mental health hotlines that have been disseminated by this administration, such as those that particularly exist to support LGBTQ youth suffering, which, by the way, are 60% more likely to battle with depression and suicidal thoughts. All right, next question. Do you favor a guaranteed minimum monthly income? So we have pioneered the guaranteed minimum monthly income policy right here in Cook County. We've stopped families from going hungry, and we've been that lifted support that have impacted and benefited thousands of people out of poverty. This pilot program has proved what we already know, that this policy works, and that itself is a case study to know that it's time to implement this nationwide. Should the House impeach Donald Trump? Yes. Short answer. But to expand on that, it is time for Congress to reclaim its power. The United States House of Representatives is not powerless. We have everything we need right now to hold this administration accountable, and don't let anyone in Congress tell you they don't have that power. That is why this seat matters so much, by the way. Illinois 9 is a safe blue seat in a safe blue district. Therefore, the responsibility is on us as representatives representing a community like this to have the investigation and power to impeach and to lead that charge. And yes, this administration has caused multiple impeachable offenses. Trump has ignored court rulings against his deportations and his tariffs. He's extorted companies to silence journalists and even comedians. He's taken a buzz and saw towards where a right to due process, a right to free speech, and even right to peaceful protest. He's used his position as presidents to make millions in cryptocurrency. And he obviously has now twice bombed neighboring nations without Congress's act of war. And these are all impeachable offenses. We must act on all of them. All right, next question. If Democrats gain a majority in the House in 2026, what legislative action would most help retain that control through the 2028 election? So when you don't have a place to sleep at night, nothing else matters. Democrats must be the ones to take on the housing shortage in our country. That means, at the minimum, banning hedge fund owners from buying multifamily units that should be affordable housing and profiting off of this. We are facing the worst housing crisis in the United States history. My generation simply cannot afford to buy a home. Our reps in Congress never had to deal with this. They don't know how hard it is to find an affordable apartment right now, and we need a fresh perspective in Washington. We need to incentivize affordable housing, expand low-income rent assistance, and cut the red tape for developers. And Democrats don't like red tape anymore more than Republicans do. If we want to regain the House, this is where we should start focusing our efforts. The Democratic nominee lost 6 million votes in the presidential election between 2020 and 2024. How do you propose getting those Dems back engaged and voting for a Democratic nominee in 28? So we are the party of the working class. We need to act like it. Who wants to pay $600 more every month to pay for Trump's illegal tariff obsession? How long will we be funding his ideological obsession out of our own paychecks? How long will we tolerate his assaults on our pocketbooks? Those answers to these questions depends on who we put in Congress next year. We are the party of affordable grocery prices, accessible healthcare, and ensuring that people have safe communities to live in as well. We don't care whether it's the White House has its ballroom. We don't care about installing a gold trim in the Oval Office. We don't care about getting a private jet from Qatar. We care about making life more affordable for everyone in America. And going into this election, there is nothing more important to say that. But also what helps is believing people who clearly have lived that life as well. How can Democratic elected officials develop policies, processes, and plans to tangibly resist the abuses by the Trump administration of the most vulnerable persons in the Evanston community? So in Illinois, we're a sanctuary state, and we're going to stay that way. Illinoisans reject this administration's cruelty. We reject kidnapping against our neighbors. We reject this assault on our constitutional rights. And I know how to lead this resistance at the local level because I've been doing so with our rapid response teams since January of this year. We have leveraged intergovernmental agreements to get legal aid to families hurt by ICE, which has been unheard of by members on a school board. We've passed the resolution to stop ICE from stepping foot on school property, and we've advocated successfully for those same policies in Skokie, in Morton Grove, in Wilmette, and beyond. We are capable of stopping Trump's destructive agenda in his tracks. What we choose to rebuild after the dust settles is what will define our legacy. So I know that was the last question, but with brief closing statements on my part, you will see a lot of these videos from a lot of different people. And to make your job easier, here are the 4 things you should look for. Consistency. Who has consistently been advocating and having these policy positions and ideas and positionalities before it was popular to do so. You'll hear a lot of people say the right things. Thankfully, they have track records that maybe don't line up with that. You have credibility. Who is actually equipped and credible to lead and has proven that they have done so. Relationships. Who actually knows the communities they're hoping to serve and represent, not just trying to do so the first time as a candidate. And then lived experience. Someone who really has lived within this community and has seen the way that government can work for us and the way that government is not working for us right now. That is what I think should be the 4 things we look for in our next congressperson to represent us in Washington, and it's an honor to be in your consideration set. My name is Bushra Amiwala, and my website is bushraforcongress.com. Thank you. Bye.